What's up, Bills Mafia? With training camp starting tomorrow, today we're going to talk about one player to watch at each position on offense in training camp. But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
This is VZ Music.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. Well, Bills Mafia, training camp starts tomorrow. And today we're going to be talking about the one player to watch at each position on offense in training camp. Once again, I want to shout out Bills Wire for doing this article. So let's see who they have listed at each position on offense. So, the very first, Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen, quarterback. We know what it looks like when Josh Allen plays. We know what it looks like when Matt Barkley plays. We do not know what it looks like when Kyle Allen plays. That is true. Kyle Allen has limited experience. However, he did start one season for Carolina in 2019. His completion percentage was 62%. I like that. His yards, 3,322. He played 13 games, by the way, so he filled in for Cam Newton that year, who got hurt early on. And he wound up having 17 touchdowns. That's good, but here's the bad. 16 interceptions. Yeah, you heard it right. 16 interceptions in 13 games. Not good. So, listen, I know he was young. He was a second-year player at that time, but that is a gang load of interceptions. And after that, he has very limited playing time. He went to Washington in 2020, where he played 4 games. And I guess there were fill-in games. I don't even know because he didn't have a lot of yards there. About 610. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception in 2020. 2021 with Washington, again as a backup, he played 2 games, had 120 yards with 1 touchdown. And then in 2022, he played 2 games with the Texans. He had 416 yards with 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So the guy's completion percentage through his career is 62.6. I like that. Career yards, 4,734. Touchdowns, 26. Interceptions, 21. So listen, he is a turnover machine. It seems like when he gets the opportunity to play multiple games in the NFL. Let's just hope we never see this guy on the field because we are not going to win a full season or go to the playoffs with a Kyle Allen quarterback. Now, could he fill in 1 game, 2 games, maybe 3, and go 1-2? And let's say, we need him for 3 games, possibly, depending on who we're playing at that time. That what stretch of games we're playing. The opponents. But not impressive. I once again, I don't stress backup quarterbacks, but you got to have a decent one. And I know we don't know much about him, but his track record shows when given the opportunity, he's a turnover machine, and that is not a good sign. But right now, all we got is him and Matt Barkley, and I will take Kyle Allen over Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley, at this stage of his career, is more of a veteran in the locker room, more of a practice squad guy. Good to have around, but as far as being a backup, no, Barkley is not that guy anymore. So let's get to the next guy on this list. So the next guy, running back, Damen Harris. So what do they say about Damen Harris? There's a lot of assumption that James Cook is going to be the Bills' top running back. That could hold true, but Damen Harris signed a 1-year prove-it deal this offseason, and he profiles as an every down back. Cook does not. So true. However, it is a 1-year deal for a reason, a prove-it deal, right? So, listen, I like Damen Harris, and I'll continue to tell you guys this, but it worries me that his injury history has followed him since he's been drafted. Now, if you go back to, I believe it was 2020, let me pull up his stats real quick here, guys. It's where he had his breakout year in New England. Let's pull it up now so I don't mistake. I'm pretty sure it's 2020. So, no, I'm mistaken. I'm sorry, guys. 2021 is when he had 15 touchdowns. Great year. No doubt about it. But problem is, if you go back in his history, since he's been drafted in New England, games played, rookie year 2019, he played, let's see here, I'm sorry, guys. So he played, I'm looking for the touchdowns here. So in 2019, he played 2 games played. 2020, he played 10 games. So he missed time already. 2021 is his breakout year. He had 15 games played, 929 yards with 15 touchdowns. Very good season. But the following season for New England, he missed more time. He played 11 games with 462 yards and 3 touchdowns. So really, he only had the one breakout year in New England in 2021. But I will say, when the guy is healthy, he's exactly what the Buffalo Bills need, which is a short yardage back, a goal line type back that we haven't had in a while here in Buffalo. If he could stay healthy, yes, he could definitely provide, what we've been wanting or what we've been needing. But the problem is, can he stay healthy? And I worry, I do, because his track record, once again, like Kyle Allen's track record of throwing interceptions, is not good. So his injury history is not good, right? It should worry you as a Buffalo Bills fan. I do got to mention one thing today that happened before we move on, which is obviously most of you guys already know already. Nyheim Hines got injured on a jet ski. Somebody ran into him and crushed his knee, I guess. He is out for the season. I didn't think, I thought Nyheim Hines was already kind of on the bubble because of the new kickoff rule anyways. He only had 2 carries for the Buffalo Bills last season. I don't think they were going to use him, even if you made the roster as a running back per se. I think they were going to use him more as a gadget type of a player. But now he's gone. So right now we have 3 running backs. That's James Cook, James Cook, Damen Harris, and Murray. So Murray and Harris is going to battle for that 2 spot. I know the Bills brung in some players today, some running backs. One of them's from XFL. And I believe another one's from the USFL, if I'm not mistaken. But not good enough. Listen, if the Bills want to get this right, and they're not going to do it, but Kareem Hunt is still sitting out there. I think Dalvin Cook's, what he's asking is a little bit above what Brandon Beane would be willing to pay for a running back. But I think Kareem Hunt, around that 4 range, I would pull the trigger on that. I really would, guys. Will he? Probably not. And I think that's a mistake. I do. Because, listen, if Harris goes down, what are you left with? What are you left with? That's a problem, guys. And I hate going into seasons with a problem. And I would say right now, I've been talking about the depth of this Buffalo Bills team and how solid it looks. And I will say the running back depth department now, especially now with Hines gone, even though I didn't think he would contribute really, is really getting slim. And it's only an injury away from really getting slim and really wondering who's going to be that player that steps up. James Cook is going on a sophomore year, right? So there's a lot of questions in that running back room. So let's get to the next guy, and that is wide receiver Trent Sherfield. You guys know that I've been high on this guy. I've been talking about this guy. It says, when Stephon Diggs skipped out of spring practices, Sherfield saw some snaps with first-team offense in practices. Could Sherfield have set himself up for more playing time than we expected when he signed? Listen, yes and no. I mean, listen, that was mini camp. Once again, you're in shorts. I mean, it means nothing until the pads come on. But I will say, I really like what I saw from Sherfield last year with the Dolphins. He really impressed. I think he's 6'2", so he has height. He has speed. I think he ran like a 4.4, low 4.4. Yeah, man, the dude, when he's given the opportunity so far, he seems to have stepped up with Miami. Can he continue that with the Bills is another question. How fast will he, catch on to this Ken Dorsey offense? How fast will he build a relationship with Josh Allen or connection? And then can he beat out Shakir for that third spot, who is another player who I think has a bright future in the NFL and is also going into his second year with the Buffalo Bills and already is familiar with the playbook. So he might have a step up, but I also feel like Trent Sherfield has been in the league a little bit longer, has a little bit more experience than Khalil Shakir. So maybe right now they're even, right, in that. So training camp and preseason is going to be huge for these guys. But I think Sherfield, no matter what, makes the team, in my opinion. And obviously Khalil Shakir is going to be making the team. All right, next up, tight end Dalton Concincaid. It says Kincaid was the Bills' first-round pick in 2023. That player is always one that has a microscope on him during their first training camp. Yes, no doubt. When you're the first-round pick, you're going to have that microscope on you no matter what position you play, right? You are a first-round pick, and Bills Mafia, and just in general, like any sports team, fans are watching you to see what you can do because you are the first-round pick. And listen, I have high expectations for Kincaid. I don't know if he's going to blow it out the water his rookie season because normally tight ends don't have these phenomenal rookie seasons. But Dalton Concincaid is a hybrid type of player. He's very unique. And I don't know if the Bills necessarily look at him as a tight end. I feel like they see him just as a, hybrid type of player that is just a playmaker. And I call him the playmaker, right? He is a PM, man, right? He is a playmaking guy on offense that we didn't really have last year. And that's why I think Josh Allen struggled at times when Diggs was covered up. He didn't have that security blanket like he did with Cole Beasley years prior. And that's, by the way, why we went ahead and got Cole Beasley back on the team back in week 14? Because Josh needed that help again. But Cole wasn't the Cole we were used to. And obviously he was sitting on the couch for a little while. So we needed a player that could be dynamic, that could be a security blanket when things break down, and a guy that can actually catch the ball. Listen, I was watching games, I've been watching games this offseason from last year, and a ton of drops by McKenzie, a ton of drops by Gabe Davis, a ton of drops by really everybody. And even Stephon Diggs had, I think, 8 or 9 drops. And we cannot have that this season. And one thing about Dalton Concincaid is the dude is one of the best pass-catching receivers / tight ends coming out of the draft. And that is something that I'm sure Brandon Beane and Ken Dorsey absolutely love about him. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what he does in camp. I'm excited to see the connection between him and Josh, if they can build that connection early. If they can, yeah, it's possible that Kincaid has a breakout season. It is very possible on this offense. So let's go to the next guy on this list. And the next guy on the list is interior offensive line, right guard, Osiris Torrance. My man. The guy I was preaching to take in the first round. And thank God we got him in the second. Can't believe it. Torrance kind of just happened for the Bills. That's true. He wasn't supposed to still be on the board in the second round, but he was. Now he's in the midst of a massive training camp position battle as 4 to 5 players are vying for 2 starting guard spots. Listen, man, no, it's going to boil down to Osiris Torrance and Ryan Bates at that right guard spot. And listen, Ryan Bates, I love the dude, and I love the fact that he can fill in any position, right? If a player goes down, love that, absolutely. There's not a lot of those players in the NFL, but he is average at right guard at best. He's better at left guard, but he's not going to play left guard because Connor McGovern, who's a better guard than Bates, is at left guard. So that only leaves right guard right now for Ryan Bates. And I just feel like Osiris Torrance, who has shown and proven throughout high school, throughout college, that he is the guy, and he's earned his position everywhere he went. When he transferred to Florida, which by the way he plays in the SEC, who they go against top-notch teams like Alabama, he absolutely looked phenomenal. He gave up, by the way, college 0 sacks. He is a run-blocking machine. He is a pass-blocking machine. When he gets his hands on you, you are finished. And that is something the Buffalo Bills have not had for a long freaking time. Okay, a guy that is an absolute beast on the offensive line. And this is what this guy is. And you're going to hear stories out of camp this week and next week on how unbelievable this guy is. And guess what? He's going against some of the best in the league on the defensive line spot for the Buffalo Bills. It's not like he's going against a weak defensive line. So you're going to find out real quickly what Osiris Torrance is all about. And I believe he is going to be the starting right guard week 1. I believe this guy's going to be a Pro Bowler in his career. And just be excited that we got lucky enough that we drafted this guy. I just, like I said, if you guys don't know about this guy, go look him up. Go see the awards he's won in college. Just go look at his film in general. Absolute dog. You should be super excited to have this guy on your team. I know I am. All right, next guy on the list, tackle. Right tackle, Spencer Brown. What do they say about Brown? Brown is expected to be the opening day starter at right tackle again for the Bills. But Buffalo made a late addition this spring via Brandon Shell. Could he push Brown? Now Brown has to perform in camp. That is true. Listen, man, I'll tell you again, and I'll tell you over, man. I think Spencer Brown, since coming to Buffalo, has gotten, a lot of heat from Bills Mafia. A guy that was drafted just a few seasons ago in 2021. A guy that was not supposed to start in 2021. He was a project player, 3rd round. A guy that had very little experience at that position, but he had a high ceiling. And for a 3rd round, they were willing to roll the dice on him. And our offensive line was so bad that he was forced to play. And yeah, it did, he's shown flashes, and then he also shown some, things that he really needs to work on. Now 2022 happens, and Spencer Brown had to have back surgery, something that he wanted to do in 2021, but he went ahead and did it in 2022 in the offseason. That made him miss all of OTAs, all of minicamp, all of training camp, all of preseason. And I want to remind you guys that Aaron Cromer was signed as offensive line coach in 2022 in the offseason. A guy that is one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. Go look at his track record. Unfortunately, he didn't get to work with Spencer Brown in minicamp and training camp, preseason, right? That's where coaches, this is it, right? This is why they have training camp, to work on things, right? Once a season starts, it's practices. You're practicing for your opponent. It's nothing to do with training or teaching, right? And Spencer Brown didn't get that opportunity. And you can't, once again, you can't say, you can't blame everything on injury. Guys, he had back surgery. Yeah, I think you can. I think you can blame it on his back surgery. He had to have it. He did it so he could be a better player. So I'm going to give him a pass for last season because he came in week 1 with no training, none of that. Rusty as hell, probably, right? It didn't look too sharp, but it's understandable. Then he had an ankle injury later on in the season, forced him out a couple games. Quessenberry winded up starting. By the way, Quessenberry wasn't that good either at right tackle, right? So listen, Spencer Brown, 100% healthy now. OTAs, mini camp showed up, training camp. Here we go. This is it. This is his time. There's no more. Now, there isn't an excuse now, right? And last year, I'm not going to give an excuse because it is what it is. But this year, if you have the time to work with Cromer, you got the preseason. You get all this preseason. You got all this time to get better at your craft. When week 1 starts and this season starts to go on, and you're still doing the same things that we saw your rookie season and last year, then it is what it is. You are who you are. And you probably are going to just be one of those guys that's a rotational type of player. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Spencer Brown is going to surprise a lot of Bills Mafia. I think he's going to have a very good season. When you see this guy on film, the good is really good. Super athletic. Gets on the outside, can block, run block, can get out on the edge. Pin and pulls are great. He just needs to work on some stuff, man, especially against speed rushers. If he gets his feet down right, gets his blocking down right, and I think Cromer will work on him, work with that on him. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what Spencer Brown does. But I will say, if he doesn't work out, Brandon Shell was a great addition. He played very good for the Dolphins last year at right tackle. A lot of Dolphin fans said that. They wish he re-signed with the Dolphins, but he decided to come to Buffalo, and I absolutely love the pickup once again by Brandon Beane, adding depth and competition to the offensive line. So, guys, I want to know your opinion on this. I'm going to give you one more because I always give one more player to watch at each position. So let's throw another guy in there. Let's throw Deontay Harty in, right? Why not Harty, right? Harty, once again, he got signed to a 2-year deal. Dude is electric, super fast. And the reason why I'm bringing him up now is because Nyheim Hines is out for the season. That makes Harty your official punt returner and kick returner for the season. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do now with him on offense. If they only mainly use him as a special teamer in the kick return or punt return game. I have a feeling because of his electric speed and the flashes that he's shown while he was in New Orleans, that he could be a dynamic on offense when given the opportunity. So I'm very curious how this works out in training camp and preseason. A lot of guys are going to be fighting for positions, right? So very, very curious how that works out. So that's another player I think you guys should watch. So anyways, guys, comment below if there's any players that you are going to watch at training camp on offense. And I want you guys to comment below. By the way, tonight I'm going live at 9 p.m. with Mikey, Mafia Sports Report. You know how we do. We are doing training camp breakdown of positions. Tonight we are doing the defensive line and linebacker. So tune in tonight, and that starts very soon. So anyways, Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.